You are now listening to Ride With Me, the Flat Tire Podcast.
Welcome to Ride With Me, episode 135. Today is April 12th, 2025. And today we have no guest. Today is going to be a solo podcast episode. Something hit the news last week that made me, I've been kind of like thinking about it over and over again about recording this episode. So today I decided to knock it out. But before I get into that, again, guys, the same spiel, the hotline, 818-806-8595. Guys, you can leave a voice message asking a question. You can even leave a topic if you like, and I can play that audio onto a future episode. My Instagram page is Ride With Me Podcast. TikTok and YouTube are both FTA_podcast. And Spotify. Thank you for the people that I have followed recently. But again, on Spotify, please hit that follow, the share, and the rate. My understanding, it goes a long way. So give that a few. Like I said, I don't really, I don't really push it. Like I really don't, honestly, I never really promoted it in the beginning because this is, at the end of the day, this is just a hobby. I don't get paid for this. It's 100% a hobby. I get people on Instagram, hey, we can promote your podcast, get you 10,000 downloads and blah, 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 blah for a small fee of, no. This is a hobby, first of all. Second of all, I don't want fake 10,000 downloads. I want people that listen to the stories that I have to share, listen to the stories that my guests have to share. So I wouldn't want fake 10,000 downloads. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep listening. Share with a friend. If you've been on the podcast, share the podcast, your episode, to somebody else, to your friends, to family. Maybe they'll look into it and like, oh shit, well, let's hear what else he has to say. Again, see here, I don't get paid, but my boy Perla, from Perla, go check him out. www.per-la.com. He didn't pay me to sponsor. He didn't pay me to say that. He came by, he met my family, he met everyone here, and he brought us all a sweater. So he sponsored the podcast by giving us all a sweater. And until I get a new let's so-called sponsor, I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep. It doesn't cost me much to add his little promo thing to my podcast. Doesn't cost me much. Takes me a couple seconds to just plug it in. So anyone's welcome to be a sponsor. Like I said, I'm not asking for cash. If you make t-shirts, I'll take a t-shirt. If you make hats, I'll take a hat. If you take pictures, well, I kind of already do that. So stuff like that. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy. But yeah, I'll promote the hell out of your business through the podcast. And so again, the hotline, 818-806-8595. IG, Ride With Me Podcast, and then TikTok and YouTube, FTA_podcast, and then Spotify. Follow, share, rate. And then, so now on to the topic. Well, the starter. Before the topic. So last week, it's gonna get dark. This is gonna be a dark story. There's stuff that I'm gonna say on this podcast episode that I've been cautious to say or haven't had the courage to say, but I realized that there's people on my podcast that have come on here and shared some stories, some dark stories, some very touching stories that why can't I share this one? So what triggered this conversation, this idea for me to finally say it? What triggered my, not to be, scared anymore, I guess, was what happened to a little boy, 13 years old, by the name of Oscar. This young man, jumped on a train from, I believe, West Hollywood, on March 28th. And he took the train to Lancaster, where he was going to meet his, soccer coach. And, I'm assuming he was going to practice with this guy, whatever the case would be. But about a few days later, this young boy, 13 years old, was found dead in Oxnard. And this is where they found him is the location where I drove by there for 3 years every morning. I've actually, I mean, I know exactly where's this at. For those of you that are from Oxnard, it's on, obviously you guys know where Harbor Boulevard is at. It's the road that takes you from, without jumping on the freeway, it's the road that takes you from South Oxnard, all the way to Ventura. It takes you to the fairgrounds. It takes you to Ventura Beach. And where they found this young man was in an old, I say old because the last time I checked, it wasn't even an active campground. I remember back in the day when I was homeless, I actually camped out at this campground. And it's literally like right there by the beach. And I believe a few years ago, maybe even 10 years ago, the tides got so bad that it pretty much washed out this campground. And so now it's pretty much an abandoned campground from my understanding. So where they found this young man, this young boy, there are no cameras. There are no, I think the street light is like, the closest street light is maybe like a mile away. If from where they found him, maybe like the street light would be at where you enter into the campground. If you're going to, so maybe it's about maybe half a mile to a mile away in one direction, and then in the opposite direction, I mean, probably like a mile and a half before you get to like, it's this big fancy hotel. And, so where they found this young man, this young boy, there are no cameras. There are no street lights. It's pitch black. And, it's pretty fucked up. I'm going to say it. Pretty fucked up how they found him. Pretty much they just dumped him out, like dumping out their trash. Because pretty much if you have, let's say, an old abandoned, like if you have an old couch laying around the house, or you have an old mattress laying around the house, and you don't want to pay to get this stuff dumped, that's where you would take it. Right there. That's where people dump their shit. Because again, there's no cameras, there's no video, there's nothing. The street lights, like I said, down the street. So in a perfect night where pitch black, yeah, you can obviously get rid of a body. And that's pretty much exactly what happened. And right now the coach was arrested for the murder of the child. And what kind of triggered this conversation was the fact that it didn't trigger it because he was murdered. It would trigger it because of what he did in 2022 and 2014. A year ago, he sexually assaulted a 16-year-old boy. In 2022, again, assaulted a 14-year-old. So the thing is that sexual predators, sexual grown men or women that are active, I guess, in being sexual predators, they are always someone you trust. They are always someone the family trusts, and they are always someone you yourself trust. And so the parents pretty much allowed their 13-year-old son to jump on the train to go from West Hollywood, all the way to Lancaster, because they trusted this coach. And now their son is dead. Because again, this is in Lancaster, and you dump the body, which is like 60 to 80 miles away from Lancaster. You had to have known this location. I say that because my brother-in-law, he is a soccer coach, and there's been times when we lived in Oxnard, because I'm originally from Oxnard, where he is at soccer tournaments, at soccer competitions, and there's this hotel in Oxnard, towards like Channel Islands, the harbor. And that's where him and his students and the rest of the coaches stay. So that's why I believe that this coach, Garcia, knew exactly of that location, because to get to that hotel, you would have to drive by. It's on Harbor. You would have to, if you get up on the 101, you jump on Harbor, you take Harbor South, and it takes you to the hotel that's in Channel Islands. So I have a feeling, since he is a coach, that he knew exactly about this remote, dark area. So, again, I'm going to repeat myself probably multiple times in this episode. It is always someone you trust. It is always someone you trust. Again, the family trusted this guy, and that's why they allowed their 13-year-old boy to jump on the train, and drive and go all the way to Lancaster. So, there we go. This episode, I should have started in the beginning. This episode will have a lot of trigger warnings. So I guess I will start. Like I said earlier, I said this story with Oscar triggered some memories, and I have to share them. I've been very, like I said earlier, I've been very not cautious, not scared, but I guess I didn't have the guts to do it. I didn't have the courage to do it. I don't know, maybe because I feel like someone's going to judge me, criticize me, or who's listening. And, every time I get a new person that, hey man, I heard your podcast. I heard you have a podcast. I want to hear it. It makes me not want to talk about this event, but I have to. And so, why? Again, because why? Because I was about Oscar's age. And so let's start off with, summer of 1997. I remember my mother moved us to this hotel. And for those of you that are from Oxnard, old school Oxnard, it was a hotel in the ugly parts of Oxnard. Everybody says Oxnard is so beautiful. Nah. Just drive 5 minutes into town and Oxnard gets pretty ugly. Back in the day, there was this place called Easy Motel. And this is where they kept like the people that were on welfare, and they were people that needed like the home assistance program, where the welfare office gives them like a voucher for a week, and they would go stay at this hotel. And sad to say, this wasn't the first time we stayed at this hotel. It was prior to that, maybe years before that. But in summer of 97, that's actually where I met my mentor Frank. If you guys go back to a couple episodes behind, I met my mentor Frank there at that hotel. That's where I learned how to change car stereos. That's where I learned how to play with wires, and he was a real good role model when it came to learning shit. So at the hotel, again, it was a shady hotel, and a lot of drugs in and out of that place. So it wasn't a good place for kids. So, but it is what it is, right? At the entrance of the hotel to get to the parking lot, there used to be this little market. This store was on the corner of Date and California Street in Oxnard. Inside the store, the little market, there was a video store inside. Tiny video store, the size of your living room maybe. And the individual in this store is the person that we will get to later. And so we would obviously go into this little market to buy our groceries. And since we only had the TV that the hotel provided you with, we would go into this video store and rent movies. Well, we went in there multiple times. And so that's what I caught this guy's attention. And multiple times, again, we went in almost daily to rent a movie or whatever, where he started talking to my mom, and they started to develop a friendship. And so it got to the point where it's like, she didn't mind, obviously, well, not that she ever cared, but she would send us by ourselves to the store and to the video store to get a movie, whatever. And so at one point, this guy offered me like a job, like, hey, how would you like to come and, you know, fill the shelves or whatever, and like whatever. I mean, I was like I said, I was about Oscar's age, and I was like, fuck, for money? I mean, I guess that's great. For free rentals, I think it was at the time. And shit, my mom's not gonna turn down free rentals. And then that led to me kind of like being there at the store more often, and then more and more. The more the trust got more and more, and then it got to the point where he does DJing. He did DJs. Oh, he still does, from my understanding, DJs. And he wanted to, he started asking my mom, hey, is it okay if he comes with me to set up, DJs and go do this and go do that, and my mom, and then I'll pay him, and obviously for money, my mom's not gonna say no, because the money, whatever money he gave me, she turned around and took it from me. So to her, it was like, fuck yeah, let's go. And so I would go and help him with his equipment, help him strap, and pretty much he just needed an extra pair of hands. And then after the night, the DJs or whatever, time and time continued, and then it got to the point where it's like, hey, would you like to go, play basketball? And I was like, that's cool. So we started going and playing basketball. This guy 100% gained my trust. He gained my trust. So we went to, we would go play basketball, and we would always go to the park down the street from where we were staying at. And it was like we would play 21 all the time. And we would go, after we would play basketball, he would always call me Wedo. Wedo, you hungry? Wedo meaning light skin, so white. Wedo, you hungry? And I'm like, yeah. And he would take me to like, Denny's was one of the spots we always went to on Channel Islands and Ventura Road. There's a KFC at the corner now, and then dollar store next to it. And we would go there. And this is when he started like teaching me, like kind of molding me in a way. He started teaching me to have like table manners. Again, 13, 14-year-old kid didn't have really table manners. So he would teach me how to properly cut my steak or my food, or where the forks go, where the spoon went, where the fork went, all that good stuff. He started teaching me table manners. Okay, cool. Then it came to the point where after we had a gig, we would go back to his house, because that's where he had the equipment, and he would store his equipment in the back, whatever, or he had a storage, something like that. And then again, the gaining his trust continued. He started teaching me how to shave. He started teaching me how to comb my hair. He introduced me to the Bee Gees, which they're not a trigger for me, and I guess I'll explain that later. They're not a trigger for me, but I actually enjoy the Bee Gees. And then he started like kind of showing me how to dance. So he started being the father figure I never had. Because, multiple guys in the family, they weren't really father figures. They were there for one quick fix and they were gone, So this guy truly became a father figure at my age, at, like I said, 13, 14 years old. And so I saw nothing wrong, and so nothing really, I didn't really suspect that he was like a weirdo. And I didn't even know, I mean, 13 years old, you don't think about that shit. I'm sure Oscar didn't know this shit. So at 13 years old, who the fuck thinks about like, oh, this guy can be a child predator? I don't even know what a child predator was until I got older. Then I realized, oh shit, that fool that I worked with was and is a child fucking predator. So, again, multiple times going to his house. And you know what? The funny part is that I never caught on to his neighbors always calling him Puñalini. And I never understood that. I said I was a kid. Obviously, as an adult, you realize that they were pretty much calling him a queer. As I'm going to say it as best as possible. Hopefully I don't get banned for this shit. So pretty much that's what they were calling him in Spanish. And he kind of just laughed it off, whatever. So there we go with the gaining of the trust. Again, still continued. This went on for months. Obviously, he would take me to play basketball on a regular basis, take me to breakfast on a regular basis. Again, taught me how to comb my hair, taught me how to freaking brush, shave, everything. Father figure. Introduced me to aftershaves. Father figure, like I said. And then, so, shit, what else can I think of before I get to what else I'm going to say? Sorry, I just don't, I don't like to keep short podcast episodes. Anyways, I think it's hitting something, that's why. So, so they came one evening where he was having like back pain or some shit like that. And he told me, hey, I'm going to teach you how to do this, and I need you to do it to me. So what he did was he grabbed like real strong rubbing alcohol, and he would put it in a cup, and he would like just soak the cup and then drain, and then dump the rubbing alcohol back into the bottle, and he would light the cup on a fire, and he would say really fast, like, stick it to my back. So I know I see that in massage parlors now, I guess. So again, as a kid, I didn't know that. So he taught me how to do that. He's like, just do it, and it'll help me for his back. I'm okay, cool. So, here I am being a 13, 14-year-old, I guess, masseuse, or freaking, I don't know what you want to call that. But, so because I did that, I didn't feel uncomfortable with him taking his shirt off, I guess, with him being almost naked. I didn't feel uncomfortable. I'm doing, what he asked me to do. And, so again, more and more times, more hanging out with this guy. One day he tells me, Güero, I went to the doctor, and, I need something, I need medication, like a lotion that he needs rubbed on a private part. I was like, and again, at 13, 14 years old, he's like, can you please do that? He wasn't married at the time. He didn't have a wife. And he's like, can you please, do this? And obviously, again, 13, 14-year-old, I didn't know that I was pretty much giving him a hand job. I just 100% believed that this man needed this lotion on his fucking penis so that he can cure whatever issue he had going on. And so that happened a few times, and the same scenario. Hey, I guess he needed it on for multiple times, and pretty much again, I had no idea that I was pretty much jerking him off, pretty much giving him a hand job. And so then came one time when I kind of was like, oh, my back. So he asked me if, he told me, hey, let's do the same thing with the cup on your back to help you, heal or whatever. And again, I trusted this guy 100%. And I was like, I agreed, okay, cool, and puts me on his bed, and he makes me get undressed, get on his bed, and I'm pretty much full blown butt naked, head to toe, and he starts to kind of rub my back, and with the cups, and he put the cups on my back and whatever, and then I didn't know that at one point, because I'm facing down, right? I'm obviously facing down. I didn't know that at one point this sumbitch also took off his pants. So he's rubbing my back, and then all of a sudden I feel his like penis like touching my butt. Like I can feel it hovering over my butt. Like I felt it touch my butt. I jumped out of that bed so fucking fast that I got dressed, put my clothes back on, because now even though I was blind, I guess, in a way, and not educated on everything that was going on with the whole hand job and shit, but I damn well knew that nothing is supposed to go up my butt. Hells no. So I jumped out of his bed. I put my clothes on, and I took off. And I'm sure he was shitting bricks. That he thought I was going to call the cops. I took off. I ran home. Well, back to the Easy Hotel. And I happened to see my mom out in the freaking like parking lot. And I told her, hey, this just happened. I don't know the exact wording that she gave me. I don't know the exact word for word. But from the interpretation of that was, it's not that big of a deal. That's pretty much what I got from that. That's not that big of a deal. So, okay, so I blew it out of proportion, I guess, whatever. But I never felt, I made sure that never happened again. I never felt comfortable laying on his bed on my stomach ever again. Like never, like, because obviously it continued. I went to the video store to return his movies. He was there and he apologized and he was like, hey, my bad. Maybe I should have told you. And I'm like, told me what? That you were going to take your fucking pants off? So, he, like I said, he apologized, whatever. And then he still offered me the job there with him. And obviously he was still trying to keep me in his pocket because I didn't call the fucking cops. And my mom was okay with the fucking money. And so, again, we continue to go do the DJ bullshit. At this point, now we're doing photography. And, now that I'm into photography myself, but he is the one that gave me a camera for the very first time and told me, hey, Wedo, just take pictures. Just take them. So now we're doing that as well. And like I said, it's always time to go back to his house to go unload his equipment and all that bullshit. And again, this time, he knows that you're not coming in through the back door. There's no way. You're not doing that. And, so the whole medication bullshit happened again. That story happened again. And then, pretty much, I don't remember exactly how or how he convinced me to, I think it was like I don't know, my legs or something like that, but he convinced me to somehow again take off my pants. He made it crystal clear he wasn't going to do that again. He wasn't going to take his off, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So, all right. I mean, again, I'm 13, 14 years old. I don't know what the fuck. I just know he can't go in the back door. That's all I know. And he pretty much started touching my penis. And he touched my penis not only with his hands, but with his mouth. And I was super uncomfortable. I remember being super uncomfortable. But again, didn't know what was happening until I actually released. And I didn't know what releasing was. I remember maybe months before I didn't know that I had had a wet dream, like for guys, sorry ladies, but guys in their teenage years if they haven't released, they'll have a dream where the body will release by itself. And, so I knew that when he did that, I released. And even though it was wrong, releasing felt good. So that went on for months. Where he got his kicks by getting a hand job, and I got pretty much, in a way, sad to say, rewarded because releasing felt good. And shit, I know I gotta fucking edit. I know I have to fucking post this episode. People need to hear. I know I say all the time that kids should not listen to my podcast because this is a grown-up conversation, but I feel like this is a story of what to look out for, in a person that's doing shit like this. So, but before I continue, I want to take a quick little break because I need to think. I'm gonna continue, but I need to think.
Hey, this is Irving Gomringer, founder of Perla. Perla represents my journey. Born in Peru, raised in LA. The name itself combines the two places that shaped me. My brand is all about blending streetwear with simplicity and luxury, something LA is known for, with high quality garments for those who value style and substance. My vision is to amplify Latino voices in that industry. By rocking with the brand, not only are you making your look stand out, but you're also helping me and all Latinos to be represented and celebrated. So if you're ready to elevate your fit and rep the culture, check out my website at www.per-la.com and on Instagram at LA Brand Perla. Thanks for supporting Perla and being part of the movement. 10% of the profit will be donated to Action Against Hunger. Thank you.
And I'm back. And so, where did I leave off at? Whew. Again, like I was saying, this continued for a few months, and like I said, I knew it was wrong. I knew that we shouldn't be doing stuff like that, but like I said, as a 14 year old kid, I mean, like I said, it felt good. You know what I mean? So I let it continue happening, and then it was like maybe, how to say it? Maybe when I finally moved out, like no, not moved out. I can't say that. There was a point where obviously it came to an end because I think we moved. We were nowhere near in contact with the guy, and we didn't see him for a while. And when I was an adult and I saw him, wait, let me see. Anything else? No, I guess not. The next time I saw him, I was an adult. Like, I already had moved out of, like, no, I didn't see him for a while. And when I did see him, I was working at Home Depot, and I saw him with two of my siblings. And I went off on him, and I told him that he better not do to my brothers what he did to me. Like, I freaking went off on him. I'm like, you better fucking keep your hands to yourself, blah, blah, because I know I wasn't angry with him when he was doing the things he was doing to me, but I did get angry when I saw him with my siblings and the potential, what he could do to my siblings. So I was like, oh, he was no. So I went off on him, and I ended up getting an angry phone call from my mother to fucking mind my business and blah, 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 blah. So pretty much, I dropped it. I didn't, whatever, it is what it is. I mean, I'm the one getting fucking chewed out for this shit, for fucking trying to defend my siblings, but whatever. And then it wasn't, and like I said, back then, after that, I mean, shit happens, man. I mean, I ended up, like I said, being homeless, not having a job, and, all that bullshit, where I ended up reconnecting with this guy, like, in 2010. By now, I'm a full grown adult. I mean, I'm, what is it? 2010, I'm pushing 30. I think I'm 28. And he, hey, Wedo, I need a cameraman. What's up? By then, he already has himself a new toy. You know what I mean? He has a new teenage boy with him. And this teenage, like this kid, none of my business what's going on, or whatever. I just need to get paid. I need to take photos, and I need to get paid. And, but some of the conversations this boy would tell me, he would tell me that homeboy had videos. I mean, videos of what he was doing to me. And I was like, the fuck? Like, I don't want to hear this shit. It was like, he reminded me multiple times that, hey man, this guy has videos. So somewhere he had a fucking hidden camera, I guess. But I don't know. I never confronted the guy because I'm like, fuck. I mean, why? Like I said, I've been very cautious. Not cautious, but I've been very fucking scared, obviously, to post this fucking, just to talk about this story. So I'm like, I just dropped it. I just went to work and got my thing. And again, this is 2010, 2011. I'm not really talking to my siblings, and I have no idea what's going on, whatever. And I recall one day my two of my brothers, hit me up and they said where I was at. I was at homeboy's house. We were having a yard sale, and he wanted to get rid of all his, because like I said, he had a video store. He wanted to get rid of all his DVDs. All his DVDs. He was selling his DVDs, his VHSs, everything. So he wanted, he no longer had that the video store. My brothers walked up. They saw where I was at, and I told them, "Hey, dude, once my brothers get here, I gotta go." And they pulled up, and now, knowing what I know, I saw the uncomfortableness. Is that a word? I saw how uncomfortable one of my brothers got, but I didn't really pay attention. And nothing of it. No one said anything. No one told me anything. No one said shit. And so I had no idea. And I can share that. When I said I didn't have an idea, I can share that because my brother did come on the podcast and shared what happened to him. So again, what I know now, right? So I had no idea, and like I said, we took off, whatever. And then, as long as I was like homeless and shit, didn't have a job, I would obviously work for this guy. And again, I didn't have like, how like people are usually terrified of their sexual assault, people who sexually assault them. Assault. I don't feel he sexually assaulted me, so I was never afraid of him, and I was never afraid of him. So I have no problem being around. I had no problem being around him, but as an adult, I mean, he's not gonna do that shit with me. His kicks are with kids, not adults, and I worked with him a couple of times up until I found a job, up until I finally got my job. I no longer needed him. So I no longer called him. He would call me and say, "Hey, dude, we got a gig." I'm like, "Well, sorry, dude, you got a gig. I'm at work. I worked that day. I'm sorry." And then obviously custody with the kids. My kids came first. I'm not going to change my schedule with my kids to go and take photos when I already have a full-time job. So I pretty much, in a way, cut him off. I'm like, "Hey, sorry, dude, I can't." And that was it. That was it. I think one day right before we moved out here, it might have been like 2017. I think May of 2017. He happened to be at the same church that my boys were getting their first Holy Communion. My daughter was there too. And he was there. I'm like, "Bueno, ¿quieres que le tome, want me to take photos of your kids and shit?" I'm like, sure, fuck it, for free, fuck it, let's go. He took some shots of the kids, and right away he sent me the file, and I have those photos. And but again, I thought nothing of it. And again, we go back to, I had no idea what the fuck he did to my brothers. And so fast forward, what is it? A couple of years ago, maybe 4 years ago, my brother was here, and he opened up to me that that guy molested him. And my understanding, molested him, like backdoor. And but the thing that pissed me off was no one called the cops. I mean, this guy just did what he did to your fucking son, and you didn't call the cops. So I was hurt, I was pissed, I was angry, I was everything. And but you can't change the past. You can't call the guy, because at the same time, there's rumors that he has these fucking videos of what he was doing to you, or what you were doing to him with your fucking hand. So I dropped it. I went, fuck it, is what it is. Sorry, kid, you went through this. I felt bad. I wasn't there. There's a podcast episode out there called "I Didn't Protect Them," and I felt guilty for not being there for my siblings. And it wasn't until a second brother told me what he had done to him. In similar situation to mine. No back door, but same idea, right? And that's when I got even more pissed off, because obviously I love my brothers, but I have a closer bond with the one that told me The second one that told me, like the one he's right below me. So he mentioned something to me, and I was fucking pissed. I was pissed. I was fucking pissed. At this point, I removed his number. I blocked him. Because he did call me like in 2020. Hey, Widow, you want to come? I'm like, dude, I don't live in Oxnard anymore, bro. I'm not gonna drive all the way over there. And he fucking was all right. It is what it is. He dropped it. So again, fast forward. My brother tells me I block him so his calls don't come through. I blocked him on Facebook. I blocked his wife. I blocked them all. And I even texted him from the hotline before it was the hotline. I'm like, dude, what you did to my brother, to what you did to young individuals is fucked up. I can't wait for the day that I see you rot in jail. Because I also called my buddy Ian, who is a private investigator. I told him, hey, dude, this is what he did to my brother. This is what my brother told me, and he said it on the podcast. And he told me, he said, well, your brother would have to open up and go to the police. That's the only way. And I was like, fuck, man. Fuck. Well, I don't think he wants to. I don't think he wants to. I think he just wants to drop it. It is what it is. He just shared the story, and that was about it. And then, like I said, when my other brother told me what had happened, I called the Ventura, the DA's office. And I told him what had happened. I told him what my brothers had told me. And they pretty much said that is a tough one because it happened years ago. But I'm like, what the fuck? People are being accused of shit they did. Look at, what's his name? Russell Brandon, whatever his name is. Fucking that comedian guy from something about Sarah, whatever it is. He just got fucking accused of something that happened in 1999. And so, so I was like, what the fuck? So they wanted me to drive down there. Obviously, I'm not in Ventura. And so I didn't go. And, but we all know who Officer Ricky is. And I talked to him and I said, hey, bro, what can we do, man? And he said, sadly, the defense will probably chew us out. Not chew us out. Eat us alive. Chew us alive. Whatever you call it. Eat us alive. Because how do we know that it's the same three individuals are all siblings? And so they'll think it as like, you guys are just fucking collaborating each other's story. That's a tough one to prove. So I haven't done anything about it. Like I feel horrible that this shit happened to, like I said, to me, it is what it is. I'm not afraid of the guy. But what pissed me off the most is when I heard that he also touched two more of my siblings. That's when I lost my shit. And I don't know, my brothers, I'm not talking to them again. And the last thing that one of my brothers told me was like, it was you fucking knew, and you fucking still work for the guy, and you knew this went down. And it's like, the story that you guys just heard today, I barely opened up to after my brother told me what happened to him. I think maybe a few months later. So we're talking maybe, I don't know, February, March, April of 2024 is when I finally said something. I said this story out loud. And I only said this story out loud because I called Officer Ricky. And, that's my guy to go to. And I trust Ricky. And I told him, hey, dude, so I want to do this podcast episode. And I want to share what happened. And he told me he recommended I mention it to my wife first. He goes, because my wife, I'm married to my wife I got with her. We started dating in 2012. It is now 2024 and my wife doesn't even know, this is not a story that I just fucking share. Oh yeah, I was touched as a little boy. I don't share that story. So Ricky told me, he advised, he's like, dude, I would 100% tell your wife because you don't want her to be side-blinded or side-swiped, whatever. When someone who listens to this podcast goes and tells her, holy shit, we didn't know that happened to Andy. So I was like, fuck, okay, you're right. Again, this was the first person I ever said that shit to out loud. I did never have ever mentioned this shit out loud. That was the first time. 2024. The beginning of 2024. Like I said, April 2024. And I called right away, hung up with Ricky and called the wife. And I told her, hey, I have something to tell you. Sorry. This happened. And she told me she always suspected it because she can see whenever, like, I can just be laying on the sofa with fully clothed, and her hand can be on, like, she can just be like caressing me or whatever, like, and she can be like just rubbing my shoulders or whatever, and her hand goes towards my butt and I flinch, right? It's just not even like what do you call it? It's not even like it can be just like flinch, or don't do that, don't touch me. Even though he never went in the back door, I've always been very cautious. And like I said, it's like a little, how they say don't, everybody has like a little sensitive spot in their body. I don't like it when she touches my neck, and she knows it annoys the shit out of me. Apparently, close to the back door is one of them. And she told me, I always suspected it. And I'm in tears, by the way. And I'm telling her this, and she goes, Andy, I've always suspected it. I knew something was up, and sad to say, I kind of suspected it was that guy. And she only had an interaction with this guy like once, and that was that day of the photography, the day that he was at the church and took pictures of my kids. She said it, like, honestly, I've always suspected this happened to you, and I've always suspected it was that guy. I'm like, well, you fucking hit it. You called it. You dinged it, whatever you want to call it. You doorbell, whatever you want to call it. You hit the doorbell, whatever. So she told me it's okay. She understands, and again, she reminds me, you were a child, you were a kid, you had no idea, and she's right. I mean, I was a kid. So then we fast forward to September of 22, where I don't know, my brother goes through a what is it called? Midlife crisis, and he starts just fucking going, like, he had just told me a couple years prior that the past is the past. So now 2024, we're talking 2022. He told me the past is the past. 2024, he's fucking getting on my ass about shit that I didn't do or did so he's like, you fucking knew this happened. You knew he touched your brother, and you still work for the guy. So I'm being penalized for shit that I had no idea. And then when I told him, dude, I just recently told my wife what happened, he didn't believe me. He believes that she's known since day one and blah, blah, blah. But even if that's the case, even if she is known since day one, this happened to them, to me, before my wife was even ever in the fucking picture. So how can I be penalized for not doing something about it when I had no idea? No one fucking told me. I had no idea. Nobody was, at the time that this happened, nobody was fucking talking to me. Then when I moved out to get married and everything, they didn't talk to me for fucking 10 years. So how the fuck was I supposed to know something? I'm not a fucking mind reader. I'm not a mind reader. I didn't know what happened. I had no idea. And I didn't find out until my brother said it on the fucking podcast. He fucking said it. I was like, what the fuck? Like, there were signs in a way, because he came to live with me. He was staying with us, and we started kind of catching on. There was like signs. We can see something was up. So when he came on the podcast, he fucking just opened up and fucking said it. Like, because I started talking about what happened was I started talking about the event that happened at Home Depot. How I went to, snapped at the guy and, whatever. And my mom yelled at me for snapping at the guy. And then my brother fucking right there and then opened up and said, boom. And exactly what you didn't want him to do to us is what he fucking did to me. And I was like, fuck. Right there and then I felt like a shit brother, because again, I didn't know. Yeah, I continued to work with this guy even as an adult, but I didn't know. I can get past by what he did to me because, like I said, I don't feel I was assaulted. So I can get past that. he did assault my brother. That's a different story. So, yeah, no, fast forward to today, you know, those brothers don't talk to me. I'm being blamed for someone else's actions. And, I mean, I can't change the past. And like I said, I just recently, after fucking being with my wife for 12 years, I finally said something to her. And how long have I been doing this podcast for? 2020. And I'm barely opening up. Fucking literally, fucking almost my 4-year anniversary to this podcast. Where I'm barely opening up about it. In fact, I think it is. I think I started the podcast April 19th of 2020. So we're talking anniversary right here about this bullshit. Like, this is the anniversary of the podcast, and look at what I'm telling you guys. You know, I know in a way that I'm a victim, but I don't feel like a victim, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? And I mean, we go back to this child, you know, Oscar, that, I mean, I'm glad that when I ran off that first time, that one time where he fucking somewhat managed to take his fucking pants off without me noticing, he could have easily stopped me from running in his fucking room. He had plenty of time. How long did it take a 13, 14-year-old boy to put his fucking pants on, put his shirt on, shoes on, and then get ready to run out? He had the perfect amount of time to take me out, to fucking kill me if he had to. I have a feeling this is exactly what happened to Oscar. I feel that he did something to Oscar. Oscar threatened to say something, and Oscar never got home, never made it back home. And now the poor child is deceased. So, or unalived, how you guys say it nowadays. It's just, come on, guys. He passed away. He died. And so that could have easily happened to me. You know, that could have easily happened to me. And he didn't. He didn't kill me. And, like I said, he didn't, the only reason why he didn't end up in jail was because my mom made it crystal clear. Like, it's pretty much not that big of a deal. And, I honestly don't know what to do. It does bother me. I am upset that he did that to my brothers. Like I said, I'm more pissed off that he did it to my brothers than what he did to me. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know, it's funny because the mother of my kids would always tell me that her stepfather molested her. And one day when I was with her, she ran up to him like nothing and hugged him like nothing. So I never believed her. I really never believed her until my wife recently told me. Because, you know, when I told her about the whole thing that happened with this fucking guy, I told her, I'm like, you know, I told her that I never believed the mother of my kids, so because of what she did. So then she reminded me, isn't that what you did with the guy? Didn't the guy do that to you, but yet you still managed to go up to him like nothing? You still managed to have a conversation with him like nothing? I'm like, yeah. She's like, so don't you think that that's pretty much her? She's doing the same thing you're doing. So my wife made me understand that yes, even victims are okay to be around their attackers. Because, I don't know, self-defense mechanism, something. Like I said, to me, again, I'm going to repeat myself. I don't feel like I was assaulted. But I was, it was sexual. And, I know that there's kids out there that, you know, now adults that did that to them. And like, I always hear that, I've heard multiple times that my brother was the one that was sexually assaulted, that he, was always in dark places. So that's what scares me a little bit, that this guy, that obviously my brother's still suffering from some kind of mental issues, trauma, let's say trauma instead, PTSD, something regarding because of this event. My understanding, he was 8 years old. And one of my other brothers, sorry guys if I'm confusing the shit out of you guys, but I have a shitload of siblings, and I just don't want to use real names in this podcast episode. But let's say one of my brothers told me that he, I guess, entered the room and saw what was happening and told my mother what had happened, and it was ignored. It was more, and that's the one thing my brother says on the podcast, the one that was sexually assaulted. He says on the podcast episode, she made it seem like she was the fucking victim. Oh, my son just got molested. She was the victim more than the child. So, again, I go back to the whole thing that now, I'm at fault for this shit, for knowing. I didn't know. I didn't know. And now I'm speaking to you guys, to my siblings. I'm sick and tired of being blamed for shit when I would rather you guys get a piece of paper and write down a fucking timeline and start putting pieces together. Because how the fuck am I supposed to know what happened to you guys when no one fucking told me? Even when I lived with you guys, even when we had a room together, even when we had the apartment together, not once did you guys ever tell me. You guys had the perfect opportunity time. You guys had me to yourselves for a couple years. Not once did you guys ever tell me. Then we wait for one of you guys to be in your midlife crisis, and then you go and tell me on a fucking long ass bike ride. We go all the way to Queen Mary, and you start opening up, and you mention that shit. And I started crying. I let you vent for fucking 2.5 hours. Then you guys want to turn around and blame this shit on me? It's not my fault. It's not my fault when I didn't know. And if you think about it, back in 2005, I did try to warn you guys. I did warn you guys. I tried to warn you guys. I told our mother what happened. I told her this guy was bad news. But then you guys go and live in this fucking house. It's like you give fucking all these kids from Willy Wonka's chocolate factory here. You're giving them free fucking candies. You're giving a sexual predator free fucking kids. So, this is not my fault. I'm a victim just as much as you guys are. But when I went to go tell my mother, she made it seem like everything was fine. And then when what happened, that man should have been in fucking jail right now. In prison. He should have been someone's bitch right now. In prison. But yet this is my fault? I'm responsible for this? Now this is where I'm pissed off now. So, I go back to what I said in the beginning. Rest in peace, Oscar. You were a young boy. Your story is what made me share this story. Because I 100% am convinced that this guy either touched you, tried to touch you, and at the result of that, of you probably trying to say something, he killed you. Because, 2022, assaulted a 14-year-old. 2024, February 16th of 2024, he sexually assaulted a 16-year-old boy. This man should be in fucking prison. There was no way this man should be a fucking soccer coach. And like I said in the beginning of the episode, it's always someone you trust. It's always someone the family trusts. These guys, these people gain your trust. And once they gain that trust, they take advantage of the situation. And again, if I have multiple, and let's go back to some of my guests. Some of my guests that have opened up about sexual abuse. It's an uncle. It's a grandpa. It's a family friend. It's the part that is sickening is the fact that it's a grandpa or your own fucking father. Your own dad. Really? So, it's always someone you trust. It's sad. Yeah. I'm just this like I said, I've been nervous to talk about this. Didn't have the guts to do it. I didn't have the courage to do it, which is the fucking word at the end of the day. I didn't have the courage to share this story. And I've been wanting to do it. I've been like right now, just like been thinking about it, and like months went by, and then not that my story was going to stop Oscar from getting on that train, but like I said, I've been trying to share this story. I was actually going to be on someone else's podcast, and I was going to share this story on his podcast, but it ended up getting canceled. Something happened. He couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So I decided today, you know what? I'm at home. I'm doing nothing. My kids are not here. The wife's at work. Fuck it. Let me go and knock this shit out. So again, this podcast episode, any podcast episodes, I don't recommend them to children because these are grown-up conversations. But I feel this one, the teenagers that do listen to my podcast can probably take notes of this and be like, you know, shit, really? They pretty much groom you till they get what they want. So, like I said, I'm going to repeat myself. It's always someone it's always someone that you know and trust. Again, I'm going to end it there. I've managed to I'm going to use my son's word, what they've been saying lately. I've been yapping for over an hour by myself. And so I'm going to remind you guys about the hotline. I think this is a good podcast episode to encourage people to use the hotline. You guys are more than welcome to share your stories. I mean, I'm not even asking for questions anymore. I'm okay with you guys calling me and sharing your story. You guys are more than welcome to be on my podcast. You guys don't have to come to my house. We can do it remotely on Instagram, over Instagram or like FaceTime, you know. You don't have to come here. And the hotline, 818-806-8595. Give it a call, guys. I mean, what else do you have to lose? You know what I mean? Instagram, Ride With Me Podcast. TikTok and YouTube, they're both the same thing. FTA_podcast. And if you listen on Spotify, hit that follow button, hit the share button, and rate the podcast. I would really appreciate it. Like I said, I don't want to, like, I've always said that I was kind of begging. I don't want to beg. Just, that's something that people have told me to do, and my followers have gone up since. So hit that follow button, guys. And then, again, my boy Irvin from Perla, www.per-la.com. Go check out his merch. His sweaters are pretty comfortable. My son wears his pretty much once a week. He loves it. And I'll end it there. Rest in peace, Oscar. And like I ended the podcast, thank you for riding with me.
Thank you for listening to Ride With Me, the Flat Tire Indie Podcast. You can also listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, and Podbean.